Welcome to Wilderness Wednesday, kindergartners. We are going to continue to learn about animal classifications and habitats. So today, I'm in a new habitat. What habitat is this one? It's a forest. A forest is a habitat because it's a place where animals live. This happens to be our school forest. Can you think of what animals might be in this forest? Maybe you've seen some animals in this forest before. One of my favorite animals to listen to in this forest is a pileated woodpecker. Now, the woodpecker pecks into the tree to find food for it to eat. And if you find a pileated woodpecker, it is a pretty amazing sight. If you've ever seen the show Woody Woodpecker, that is a pileated woodpecker. So it's pretty big. If you saw a pileated woodpecker in the forest, it would be this big. Real life this big. Look how big it is next to me. From my head to just about my waist. That is a big bird, and we have these in Minnesota. It's the largest woodpecker in North America. Their bill is just about the same length as their head. Another bird that I love seeing in the forest is an owl. A lot of people think that owls are nocturnal, that they only come out at night, but some owls come out during the day too. Owls are birds of prey, and birds of prey mean that they are a bird that hunts for their food. Birds of prey have three things in common. Number one, they have a hooked beak. They don't have a straight beak. Their beak is hooked so it can tear apart the meat. Also, they have eyes that face forward. Songbirds will have eyes on the side of their head because they need to watch for predators. But a bird of prey has eyes in the front so that it can look for its meal. The other thing that birds of prey have, long claws called talons. There's been a barred owl that has been in our school forest before, and it looks like this.
Have you ever seen this bird before? This is a black-capped chickadee, and it's pretty common in Minnesota and in forests.
They're fun to listen to because they have a song and they have a call. Their song sounds like this. Sweetie, sweetie. Their song is to tell other birds that, hey, this is my territory, this is where I'm gonna be. Or it's to find a mate, a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Their call sounds like this. Chickadee-dee-dee, chickadee-dee-dee. And that is more of an alarm to let other chickadees know that there is danger nearby. All of these birds have something in common. So let's take a look at the animal classification birds.
All birds have feathers. Birds are warm-blooded. Feel your cheeks, you are warm-blooded too. This means that you stay warm all the time. A bird also stays warm all the time. They're warm-blooded, their body stays warm all the time. Birds have babies in hard-shelled eggs. Birds have vertebrae. Look down and feel the back of your neck. You have vertebrae. This means that you have a backbone. All birds have a backbone too. See the bird's vertebrae in this x-ray? Here is a hawk's vertebrae. Look at that skull. It leads down from the skull all the way down its back. Birds can and must breathe oxygen from the air. Take a deep breath. You can and must breathe air. This means that you have lungs that need air. All birds need air too.
Let's take a look at the forest habitat. A forest is a large area covered mostly with trees and something called undergrowth, which means the trees grow up tall and then we have things that grow underneath, the undergrowth. So let's take a look at other animals you might see in the forest habitat.
In the forest, you might find a squirrel, a cardinal. Some forests have bears. We do not have them in our school forest. An owl, a deer, or the ninja of the forest, the raccoon.
2 of these animals are birds. Which 2? The owl and the cardinal, both of those. Otherwise, we have mammal, 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 mammal. All right, kindergartners, I have all my animals spread out. I'm gonna put birds closest to me, and I'm gonna put the animals that are not birds furthest away. Let's see how many birds we have in this group. Look at all the birds that I have. Now, for birds, there's a couple animals that are a little bit tricky. Here are 2 of them. A dragonfly has wings, but it's not a bird because what does it need to be a bird? Feathers. This is an insect. Another animal that's a little bit tricky when you're looking for birds is a bat, because a bat has wings too, but does it have feathers? Nope, it has fur, so that makes it a mammal. The birds that I have today, let's see how many of them are Minnesota birds. Do we have ducks in Minnesota? Yep. We have cardinals. I have 2 cardinals. We have cardinals in Minnesota. Ooh, the smallest bird of them all. Do we have hummingbirds in Minnesota? We do. They are the smallest birds. Ostriches are the largest birds in the world. We have owls. Another 2 that I have. Bald eagles. We have bald eagles, and owls and bald eagles are both birds of prey. So remember, hooked beak, straight eyes, not on the sides, and talons, claws on the ends of their feet to catch the prey. We have Canadian geese in Minnesota. We have robins in Minnesota. Remember when we learned about robins? That their first food, even though they're meat eaters, are those little crab apples that are left over on trees in the wintertime, and then they go to worms. We have blue jays in Minnesota, and we have geese in Minnesota. So today we learned about birds in the habitat of the forest. For Wilderness Wednesday today, I would like for you to go out into your neighborhood and look and see what birds you have there. Remember, you can take pictures of those birds, or you can draw them and label them in your journal or on a piece of paper. Your teacher would love to see what birds you have in your neighborhood if you'd like to send your pictures, your photographs, or your drawings to us in Seesaw. One of the tools you might have at home that makes it a little bit easier to see birds are binoculars. And then you can look through those trees and see up close what the birds look like. If you don't have real binoculars at home, you can make your own binoculars. We have just 2 toilet paper rolls that I painted, and then I taped them together and put some string on them so that I can hang them on my neck. And then these are a little bit different than these because these will bring up the birds really closer, much closer to your face, where these will not bring them closer. But the great thing about these is it helps you narrow what you're looking at, so you can really focus on one spot in the trees. So you can make a pair of binoculars, or maybe you have one at home, but binoculars are super helpful. Remember, we are looking only for birds today. We've already looked and talked about mammals, and we've talked about amphibians. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll talk about fish, insects, and reptiles. If you're looking for any other ways to study and learn about birds, you can do any of these activities. You can make a milk jug bird feeder, paint it if you want, cut some holes in there, put some bird seed in there, and then hang it from a tree, and a bird might come. You can look for nests. There's 2 types of nests you might find when looking in your neighborhood. You might find something called a dray, and this is a really big nest. And a dray is a nest that squirrels use. It's not a bird's nest. And then you also might find a bird's nest. So you could count and tally how many nests that you find. A dray looks like this. A bird's nest looks like this. The smallest bird's nest looks like this.
This is the smallest nest, a hummingbird nest. Look how small it is when you compare it to a quarter. There's the mama sitting on her eggs. And there are the new babies.
And the largest bird's nest looks like this.
The largest nest is a bald eagle nest. Take a look inside the nest at the brand new babies. Here's a picture of what the nest looks like right next to a man.
Now, if you really want to learn about birds, this is a great way to do it, but it's a little crazy. Can you imagine those birds building those nests without using hands? What do they use to build their nests? Their beaks. So if you want to learn how hard it is to be a bird, get some tweezers or get some tongs out of your kitchen, or maybe you can get a little clothespin and put it in your mouth as a beak and build a nest. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Have fun getting outside today looking for birds.